Have you ever had a bad boss? We've heard it before. People leave managers, not companies. In fact, leading research from Gallup found 50% of people who left their jobs did so because of their manager. So how are companies still getting it so wrong? Career expert Laurel McLeay joins me now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Eric.
Why are we getting it so wrong and so often?
Well, first of all, I want to say there is a little bit of bright news here, because what it used to be was 70% of people left because of their manager. So something is happening. And I think it's more this realisation that the command and control way of dealing with your people, and it's really a hang-up from the Industrial Revolution, just doesn't work anymore.
What is a bad manager? Because it's not the same as an incompetent manager, is it?
Well, I think it's a really good distinction there, Eric. So the first thing is, an incompetent manager is someone who simply doesn't have the skills to manage.
Yep.
And what you'll find is that companies are very good at investing in their leadership team and looking at strategy, etc. They're not so great at investing in their managers. So some of those managers get promoted above their ability into taking some kind of control around people. Now, some people shouldn't deal with people. You know, there are people who wish that people didn't exist, and they still get promoted into managers. And so that's the main thing, is with an incompetent manager, it's usually someone who doesn't have the skills, or they might be overwhelmed. Now, a bad manager, I think it comes down to their motivation. If they are completely looking out for themselves at the cost of everyone around them, they are going to cause havoc.
How have they not been found? I mean, I've had a bad manager a long time ago in the past. How have they not been found out by the time they get to that sort of position, though?
Look, this is a question that I'm often asking people when I'm coaching CEOs, because they know that they have a bad manager. Usually it's fear. They've got so much industry knowledge, they've got company knowledge, but the fact is, if they got to understand the actual costs of what having that person in their organisation is, it's like they get rid of them in a heartbeat.
Okay, you find yourself in a company, in a situation, working for a person, male or female, who is a bad and or incompetent manager. What do you do? Yeah,
really important to get the distinction here. So I think we've often got to look at it a bit like a caged animal. I'm getting dramatic, or a toddler.
I get it.
You know, is that if you go and confront someone who is a bully, a narcissist, someone who's just, then they're going to get defensive, and they could actually make it their life mission to make your life hell. So in that instance, I think you look at someone in the leadership team, someone around you who you trust, and you confide in them, absolutely off the record confide in them. Then you're going to get an understanding of whether the company supports the individual or not. Looking at the harassment policies is actually a good idea, because they are set there to support the employees. But if you find that there isn't going to be the action taken, I don't think you've got any choice except to leave and start looking for another job.
I know it's going to have a bad impact on your job, working with a bad manager, but what about the impact on your entire life and, say, your health?
Absolutely, Amanda. So you're 50% more likely to have a heart attack if you have a bad manager. I was quite surprised at that statistic, because you think about the stress, and I think that's a really great way for you to look at what you're tolerating. If this is eking into your personal life, it's eking into your health, for example, your sleep, then that really is, that's when it's in your best interest to do something about it.
See, we're thinking of bad managers as a complete a-hole here, aren't we? It would be just a poor management practice to try to be liked by everyone too, wouldn't it?
It's interesting. It's a little bit like parents, isn't it? So some people, like, for example, Aon Hewitt says that from 70,000 employees across New Zealand and Australia, 60% of people said they had a good manager. Now, what is that? Because they might just have someone they like going to the pub with.
Yeah.
We're very convivial as Kiwis, but does that mean they're helping you to perform to your best for that company and for yourself?
Okay, so not everyone's got a David Brent for a manager, do they? For instance, though, what happens if you do have a David Brent as a manager, someone who just wants to get on with everyone and it just doesn't work?
Well, I think that's all about your personal leadership skills. So you can look at, I want to create this for the company. I understand their vision. And so just kind of forget you've got a manager, because often we don't need a manager, do we? We can actually create those relationships within the organisations ourselves, work out what we want, and drive it to our own little beat of the drum, and make it happen for us.
Career expert Laurel McLeay, thank you so much for coming in this morning. It's been a great chat.